Are you planning on visiting the Eternal City? If so, here are the top places that you must visit if you are interested in reliving the ancient Rome experience. 10. The Catacombs of Rome are former underground burial grounds that date from the 2nd to the 5th century and were principally used by Christians and Jews. The catacombs are subterranean passageways that were used as place of burial for a number of centuries. The burials of Jewish, pagan and early Christian Roman citizens in the catacombs began in the 2nd century and ended in the 5th century. The word catacomb, which means, next to the quarry, comes from the fact that the first excavations to be used as a place of burial were carried out in the outskirts of Rome, next to the site of a quarry. 9. The Pantheon. The Pantheon, which was completed in 126 AD, was a Roman temple with a surprising oculus that is the building's main source of natural light. The Pantheon of Agrippa, also known as the Roman Pantheon, is one of the architectural masterpieces of the Italian capital. It is the best preserved building from ancient Rome. The construction of the current Pantheon was carried out during the reign of Hadrian, in the year 126 AD. The name of Agrippa comes from the place in which the current building is built, which was previously occupied by the Pantheon of Agrippa, built in the year 27 BC and that was destroyed in a fire in the year 80 AD. In the interior of the Pantheon, the tombs of numerous Italian kings and a multitude of artworks are found. The best-known person who can be found buried in the Pantheon is without doubt the painter and Renaissance architect Raphael. At the beginning of the 7th century, the building was donated to the Pope Boniface IV, who transformed it into a church, in which function it currently finds itself in a perfect state of preservation. 8. The Piazza di Spagna, English, Square of Spain, is one of Rome's most renowned squares. The name comes from the Palazzo di Spagna, the seat of the Spanish embassy for the Vatican, located on this square since the 17th century. The Piazza di Spagna is found in one of the most popular neighborhoods of Rome, near the high streets Via dei Condati, Via Fratina and Via del Babuino, which houses several impressive 17th and 18th century villas. The Spanish steps, Scalinata di Trinità dei Monti in Italian, were built at the beginning of the 18th century, connecting Piazza di Spagna and the Church of Trinità dei Monti. It is one of the most famous parts of Rome. Every July, the square and the 135 steps are decorated to receive the Dun Sotto la Stelle fashion show. The staircase is a favorite spot among tourists to sit, relax and enjoy the views of Piazza di Spagna. 7. The Sistine Chapel is one of the greatest treasures of the Vatican City, of Rome and of the world in general. It is known as much for its decoration, as for being the temple in which popes are chosen and crowned. The construction of the building was carried out between 1473 and 1481 during the mandate of Pope Sixtus IV, to whom it owes its current name. The architect responsible for the construction was Giovanni of Dolci, and it is the only work that he is remembered for. What grabs the attention in the Sistine Chapel is not its architecture, but the frescoes that completely cover the walls and the ceiling. Some of the most important artists who worked in the chapel are Botticelli, Perugino, Luca and Michelangelo. If there is one thing that stands out from among the images on the ceiling, it is the 9 stories from Genesis that occupy the central area. The scenes from the drunkenness of Noah to the separation of light from darkness are represented. 6. St. Peter's Basilica is one of the holiest temples for Christendom and one of the largest churches in the world. Besides, it is where the Pope presides many liturgies all year round. The construction of the new basilica began in 1506, when the old basilica had been torn down, and was finished in 1626. It was consecrated on the 18th of November 1626. Several renowned architects designed the temple, highlighting the works of Bramante, Michelangelo and Carlo Maderno. The basilica was called St. Peter's after one of Jesus's 12 disciples known as St. Peter, who became one of the founders of the Catholic Church and was executed in Rome and buried where the basilica now stands. 5. St. Peter's Square is one of the largest and most beautiful squares in the world. It is located in Vatican City, at the feet of St. Peter's Basilica. The dimensions of the square are spectacular, 320 meters long and 240 meters wide. In the liturgies and more noticeable events, St. Peter's Square has held more than 300,000 people. The construction of the square was carried out between 1656 and 1667 at the hand of Bernini, with the support of Pope Alexander XII. The most impressive part of the square, besides its size, are its 284 columns and 88 pilasters that flank the square in a colonnade of 4 rows. Above the columns there are 140 statues of saints created in 1670 by the disciples of Bernini. 4. Piazza Navona. The public square is built on the site where the Stadium of Domitian, Circus Agonalis, founded in 86 AD, once stood. It could hold approximately 20,000 spectators, which came here to see different athletic competitions. The most beautiful parts of Piazza Navona are its 3 fountains, designed during the papacy of Gregory XIII. Fontana dei Quattro Fiumi erected in the center of Piazza Navona, the Fontana dei Quattro Fiumi, Fountain of the 4 Rivers, was designed by Bernini in 1651. The 4 statues represent the most important rivers of the continents where Christianity had spread: the Nile, Danube, the Ganges and Rio de la Plata. In the middle there is an obelisk measuring 52 feet, 16 meters, which had originally been part of the Circus of Maxentius, found in the Appian Way Regional Park. Fontana del Moro, sculpted by Giacomo della Porta and later perfected by Bernini, who added the figure of the Moor. The fountain was initially called the Seashell Fountain. This fountain is located on the southern side of the square. Fontana del Nettuno. The Fontana del Nettuno, Fountain of Neptune, was also created by Giacomo della Porta in 1574, but remained unfinished for approximately 300 years, until 1878, when it was decorated by Antonio della Bitta and Gregorio Zappala. 3. Trevi Fountain is the most beautiful fountain in Rome. Measuring some 20 meters in width by 26 meters in height, Trevi Fountain is also the largest fountain in the city. The origins of the fountain go back to the year 19 BC, in which period the fountain formed the end of the Aqua Virgo aqueduct. The first fountain was built during the Renaissance, under the direction of Pope Nicholas V. The final appearance of the Trevi Fountain dates from 1762, when after many years of works at the hand of Nicola Salva, it was finalized by Giuseppe Panini. Interestingly enough, the name of Trevi derives from Trevi, 3 ways, since the fountain was the meeting point of 3 streets. 2. The Roman Forum was where religious and public life in ancient Rome took place. The Forum is, along with the Colosseum, the greatest sign of the splendor of the Roman Empire that can be seen today. After the fall of the empire, the Roman Forum was forgotten and little by little it was buried under the earth. Although in the 16th century the existence and location of the Forum was already known, it was not until the 20th century that excavations were carried out. Interestingly, the place where the Forum was built was originally a marshy area. In the 6th century BC the area was drained by means of the Cloaca Maxima, one of the first sewer systems in the world. 1. The Colosseum is the main symbol of Rome. It is an imposing construction that, with almost 2,000 years of history, will bring you back in time to discover the way of life in the Roman Empire. The construction of the Colosseum began in the year 72 under the empire of Vespasian and was finished in the year 80 during the rule of the Emperor Titus. After completion, the Colosseum became the greatest Roman amphitheater, measuring 188 meters in length, 156 meters in width and 57 meters in height. During the Roman Empire and under the motto of bread and circuses, the Roman Colosseum, known then as Flavian Amphitheater, allowed more than 50,000 people to enjoy its finest spectacles. The exhibitions of exotic animals, executions of prisoners, recreations of battles and gladiator fights kept the Roman people entertained for years. The Colosseum remained active for over 500 years. The last recorded games in history were celebrated in the 6th century. Since the 6th century the Colosseum has suffered lootings, earthquakes and even bombings during World War II. Demonstrating a great survival instinct, the Colosseum was used for decades as a storehouse, church, cemetery and even a castle for nobility. So when you go to Rome you now have a list of the most interesting pieces of ancient and world history at your reach. Thank you for watching and hit the subscribe button to see more videos like this.